young girls who saw that movie, 100 times in the theaters.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, by the way. Who were all, Team Jack, get a little older and their priorities change. Chaos plus talent.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
my favorite cocktail.
Chaos plus talent equals Billy Zane.
Look out, people.
There's your
He's a
equation.
Tasmanian devil coming
That's
through.
a great equation.
You
I
wanna
think that's
finish
the
that?
title of this episode.
I love it.
Chaos plus.
That's
yeah.
filmmaking. And here we're going to segue back to movies.
Yeah,
for
let's
you.
do
But
it.
Filmmaking, my favorite, those are critical on set because it's always chaos.
Uh-huh.
You have contingency. You plan for it.
Uh-huh.
You have to be prepared.
Right.
But then get ready, if not worthy of, the beautiful accidents. Half of it's a spreadsheet, the other half's a dream catcher.
Okay.
And you're like, come on, bring it. What do
Yeah,
you got?
yeah.
Blindside me. What can't I do? What are we not able to do anymore? What just flooded, broke? Who didn't make it to We got to what? Cast the FedEx guy to sure. What
So
we
to
broke
me,
the one prop that we have. We have to do something else. And when you commit to these choices without blame, without melting down, because that's often what's done is people who are in position of authority are not confident.
Right.
And deflect, can't handle the idea of even momentary failure publicly.
So they're grasping for control.
Grasping for control, lash out, look for blame, melt down, grab control with maybe, bombacity, cruelty even without even maybe knowing it. And then you lose your crew. Fear is no way to run an army, and it is a military, operation. You need chain of command, but you need a good leadership, and good leadership shows that you are unflappable, and you're going to noodle it. You're going to all right, you solve for X. Here we go. I find as it's the stakes are a little different when you're making art, and certainly there are financial repercussions, and you have to deliver. You have a fiduciary responsibility to make the day. However, you get to your crew through their stomachs, you feed them well, and you treat them well. And humor and bravery and a easiness that allows for being open to the best idea, which might come from the person who is the last on the call sheet and not expected to speak up, who might come through with,
with the thing.
How many, grim fairy tales were there about, was it, I don't know, with the kid with the finger in the dike or something like that? You're like, hey, the town's flooding. Stick your finger in there. Save the town. Good one, kid.
Well, Billy Zane, when I hear you speak just of everything that you do, like you're just the perfect human for this Caltech marriage, because I feel like you just love to be alive. You know what I mean? It's just like, how many people do you pass in a day where you're like, that person just loves to be alive? If we could all just show that, like, I love to be alive. Like, I guess it's loving what you're doing.
Or doing what you love.
Oh, doing what you love. Mm-hmm.
I'll take both, but thank you.
Yeah.
It's very, very kind
That's
of you.
what I hear when I hear you talk about your...
And then taking it a step further to go, if you understand that that's possible, like, I'd like to live like that, then you make it so.
That is a decision.
It is a decision. So that's what I've learned over these years was, live the biography in real time, well documented.
Speaking of biographies, can we talk a little bit about Waltzing with Brando?
Surely.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. You inhabited him.
How?
He inhabited me, but thank you. I mean, that was the invitation to dance. That was the only way to approach that, was to, invite him in.
Can you tell me a little bit about the origin of the project?
Sure. It was a book, more like a manuscript of sorts, by Bernard Judge, who was an architect who came out of the Buckminster Fuller School of progressive West Coast architects in the 50s and early 60s. He was designing geodesic domes in the day. Those were kind of mod housing. And he was in Tahiti on an assignment to build a hotel for someone, and Marlon was living there, and they had met, and they became friends. And Marlon then revealed to him he bought this island, and wanted him to help realize his dream of a sustainable compound.
Mm-hmm.
You know, trying to figure out how to get power and water to the island without using fossil fuels. And this was 1969
That's
when
incredible.
no one was having that conversation.
Right.
And leave it to Brando to have, you know, certainly complex and you know, genius, filled with contradictions and all sorts of, you know.
There's a playfulness to him
Exactly.
that shows up in the film, which was unexpected for me.
Well, that was the love letter we wanted to make. So the origins of the movie, to credit where credit's due, it was, you know, it was, the book was written and found by a director and writer who adapted it, Bill Fishman, who I had known and worked with back in the day with the Actors Gang, which is a theater company I joined early on that Tim Robbins had started. They're still doing wonderful shows over on at what was the Power Station on Washington and Venice down in you know, near West Side. Great company, rooted in commedia dell'arte and very, you know, satirical, political, just great group, and it really informed me as an actor. I owe much to it. And Bill had directed some really fun comedies, mostly, and we were reconnected after about 15 years. But I had always wanted to play. I mean, the Brando thing has been kind of hovering around me for years, but I was always fascinated by this Tahitian period, for whatever reason. A wonderful director named Matt Amato showed me some footage of Marlon on French TV doing Tahitian dancing, and he looked so damn happy. Rita was dancing, and he was in the studio just doing it, and he just looked great. He just was right in his happy time. You know, what a cool cat. And I thought, wow, look at the joy there.
Yeah.
What a wonderful period. And then I did, you know, you hear stories about, and this was the time when he was, you know, making The Godfather and Last Tango in Paris, but he had moved to Tahiti to kind of get away from Hollywood, really. He wasn't a big fan of the process, or, you know, maybe even acting at that point. I think he was fascinated by humanist pursuit, and you know, the man walked the walk for civil rights when no one did in Hollywood. He was the first real Hollywood activist, and not for any self-grandizement at all, you know, and he really walked the walk. He put his money where his mouth was, walked the walk for civil rights.
So at that time, people were not having that conversation.
No. He put himself in harm's way. He was, you know, marching with Martin Luther King. He was his best friend, you know, broke his heart when he died and gave, you know, 10% of his earnings to his foundation upon his murder, and went on the Carson show and got Johnny to write a check. You know, it was like he would go on Dick Cavett and bring the First Nation during a big standoff with, you know, at Wounded Knee with the FBI, and just bring attention. The whole idea of like turning down the Oscar was to bring attention to a conflict, a live firefight that was happening, and it had the effect. The president was watching and said, "The world is watching," pulled the perimeter back, lives were saved. No one knew this stuff. So we wanted to tell this story about this man who was known for so many other things, and just simply see the downtime of what a curious, puckish, playful, you know, just funny man.
He teases Bernard.
Yeah. Oh, he's a practical joker extraordinaire. So we made this film that was a love letter. I produced it with Bill, and we reunited. I found out he was making it. We said, okay, well, let's get this together. I brought in a financer named Dean Bloxham, who, you know, came in to put part of the money in, but eventually put all of it in because he just loved the story and wanted to see me in it, bless him. And that was like the rarest of breeds, a single source equity investor in Hollywood. Impossible for that budget. Crazy. And we made this movie, and we made it during We started right at the beginning of COVID. We were probably one of the first, if not the first, COVID-compliant production, which cost a fortune to do all the testing and everything. And then we had to shut down for a bit because we weren't able to go to Tahiti during that time, and then picked it up again and finished the movie. And you can see it on Amazon Prime, I think, and Fandango, or any platform you kind of like. And I'm very proud of it because almost more so as a producer than even the actor, because I wanted to make a film, to our earlier point, that was free of trauma. Where it's a series of pleasantries and information that you never knew, while serving up, meticulous recreation of things we all know, and certain, interviews and performance moments, frame by frame.
But there is a lightness to it.
Yes.
And that's beautiful.
And that's what we wanted to do, was just show a part of him no one knew.
Yeah.
And create a sense of relief. I remember the trailers that preceded it when we were in the theaters. Every movie had was a vengeance play, was a comeuppance, was, thriller horror or crass comedy built around some traumatic event. And this was just, this was a sociological experiment as much as The Island was to him. It was like, let's make a movie where everything goes right, more or less.
Right.
And you don't leave with any baggage. You leave better for it with a series of, again, it was just a cool drink of water. It was a lightening of the load. So I'm really happy with the film. I'm very proud of the movie because it's I don't know. I think it's healing in some way. And to play him was a great honor.
Yeah.
And a huge responsibility.
Yes.
That was not lost on me.
You say he inhabited you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I figured the only way to approach it with accuracy was not to, bow at the altar of Brando like every actor, including myself, up to the point of playing him. We all take a knee and go, the master, right? I couldn't, and which, he loved as much as hated, and hated as much as he loved, I'm sure, and would be the first to tell you that it was a emasculating job and a kind of a horrible gig. And, you just confused actors who would, it's like, why do you want to be an actor? It's like, oh, shattered dreams, It was very funny. But the only way to be him was to do nothing. Do no research. To do research was to be other than him.
Okay.
Was to be us.
Yeah.
So I read nothing.
Wow.
I stressed not. I tapped into as much of me as possible, which was not far from his process as an actor. I'm not a method actor, and I don't really think he was.
Oh, okay.
I think he was he liked improvisation, and he liked being blindsided by events, and that was the first time we saw that naturalism. And it required an actor-director like Elia Kazan to recognize it in Brando and in Dean. We wouldn't have had those performances if we didn't have Kazan, who knew to let the actor and these free actors find things rather than go, oh, no, don't pick up the glove, do it again, start again, as opposed to let Marlon pick up Eva Marie Saint's glove and start putting it on his hand in the middle of a scene, and just watching her be surprised by that gesture while they let the scene play. And everyone talks about this as a revolutionary breaking point in Hollywood, where suddenly we witnessed something that was unplanned.
So you're tapping into an energy rather than just creating.
Playing him?
Yes.
Oh gosh, yeah. It literally, I was like, look, we're telling your story, man. Come on in. It was like slipping on a leather jacket.
Oh, that's so nice.
What do you got? What do you want?
I love how you talk about like letting it happen.
I had to. Which didn't mean I was walking around doing his voice and being him on set. I waited until the last minute to drop in on it. And was me, picking up apple boxes and moving, which are, props on set that everyone's
Yeah.
got. It's an Apple box. It's like might as well be a light stand or a cooler, but you're always hauling crap out of the way and moving things out of frame or taking care of making sure those extras' shoes are period and not from 1989. I would busy myself up right to the point I had to
Be him.
and then switch right over as opposed to lock myself in the trailer, have to be called Marlon, don't look at me. I hate that crap, but whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Everything about it was counterintuitive, but seemed to be pulling from his playbook
Wow.
to diminish the preciousness
Yeah.
while understanding it's the most precious thing. It's the most responsible thing. It was a gamble.
Well, the performance is extraordinary.
Thank you.
Really is.
Appreciate it. It was fun. It was a lot of actors will tell you how hard things were. It was easy. It was weird. Everything about it was not what you expected.
See, that goes back to Billy Zane Loves Life. What actor would say that about playing one of the greatest actors? Billy Zane would, because he loves it. He's like, it was easy.
You'd be mining the awards. It was really, I would. I would research for days. And I was talking to Paul, and he mentioned The Phantom, and one of my favorite characters. And then he mentioned Brando, and I said, which do you think required more preparation? And he goes, well, and if naturally going through the decision tree and deductive reasoning, he's no fool. He's like, well, typically you would assume it was Brando, right? But based upon the fact that you're asking that question, I'd have to say The Phantom. I said, you're right.
Yeah.
I trained for that for over a year physically.
Right.
And had to kind of will that to happen by researching the comic and the character, and I had been exposed to it, but wanted to play him so badly.
There's such purity to him.
That's why I connected with what made this. It was so important to play a hero who disarmed and didn't kill.
Because he's not really ambiguous. We were talking about the morally gray and embracing that which is beautiful,
Exactly.
but he's pure.
He's, we have a gray area in our role models, I think,
Right.
in our definitions of heroism. It was maybe considered corny at a time when postmodern interpretations of anti-heroes and, dark
I found it
knights
quite
were
moving.
emerging.
I found the purity to be very moving.
Thank you. I think it required context and time to be found. There were the purists who completely got that we were making a classic, serial, Fairbanks, Errol Flynn, Gene Kelly informed, happy hero. At a time when we were really starting to paint darker and darker versions and playing to that desire in the audience and maybe our culture. And it suffered in its early days, and I think resonated with some purists, and then just maybe not with the masses. But over time, this thing has kind of emerged in the kind of fanboy fan space, the fangirls who love it. There's something about again the differentiator, right? I think we instinctively, maybe in our DNA, know we need characters with compass.
Yeah.
We need a torchbearer in this, someone who understands the fundamentals.
Sometimes we don't want an anti-hero. As interesting as the anti-hero is, I think sometimes we do just want the pure hero.
We need it
Yeah.
more so than want. I would even think. I think we need it in ourselves to at least know it's possible, and be fearless of joy, be fearless of right and light, and not be afraid to line up on that side of a binary choice. It may seem corny, but it works. and it serves. And I feel like I got that job because I connected with the why.
Yeah.
Why it was important to do. And I literally, like, that was a conscious effort. I remember before every take, virtually meditating on bringing in, light, like an affirmation before every shot, harnessing, invoking, knowing that movies wash over you in many ways, that they do perhaps capture energy and spirit, and not just the words that are said. And so that was an interesting experiment. But yeah, it's not the role you would think required more research. I had to read a lot of comic books, see? Not biographies about Brando. I had to read me some comics.
That brings us back to being fearless. That's for you, Sarah, with your painting.
Come on, Sarah, what are you going to paint? Don't say it. It's an improv.
It's an improv.
Don't answer.
Right.
It's an improv.
We'll go to the hardware stores,
No,
Billy.
you guys got to come to the studio. Orlando.
Orlando.
We just
I
had
was
a
going to
massive
say,
You
class.
you
mentioned that
go
in the
to
hallway.
Orlando.
You said that in the hallway.
And that is about, we talked about embracing the good, but it very much exists in the non-binary. And I think it was revolutionary for 1992, what it embraced. What do you think?
I think for when it was written.
Oh, God, yeah. Late 20s,
Virginia
28.
Woolf. Was it 1928?
I think Virginia Woolf wrote it in 28.
Tell the audience what that book's about, Sarah.
Oh, God. Ellen, no. It's the story of, I think it begins in Elizabethan Renaissance. Is that correct?
That is.
And Orlando is a gentleman of highborn birth. At that time, he's a gentleman. And he doesn't age. He doesn't die. But what he does do is become the feminine at some point.
He's at the request of Queen Elizabeth.
That's right.
Who valued youth above all else in her later years, says, "Don't ever age, Orlando." And as this allegory or metaphor plays out, he doesn't, and
keeps his
experiences
promise.
milestones in history, lives for hundreds of years, or eternally as an immortal of sorts, but wakes up as a different sex one year. But as a male, experiences what it means to be a man societally, which is to go to war.
Right.
And didn't really like that too much. And then wakes up as a woman at a time when women's rights and the home, his grand house he had, was to be taken away from him because she's a woman now.
Right.
And it was an interesting examination on gender politics, I guess, and through the ages, and was just a really smart and at times humorous and look at our culture, at society, at the world, and men and women. And Sally Potter, the wonderful director, writer who adapted it, made the film, and Tilda Swinton played Orlando as a young man and a woman.
In exquisite androgyny, I must say.
And it's a beautiful film that won, I think, Best Wardrobe for Sandy Pollan. Probably her first of her 6 Oscars for doing the costumes, and all of the art directing was like by Peter Greenaway's people, so it was all about maximalism. It just was. It looked incredible, and for the budget at the time, a film looked that grand. It was. It just celebrated, I think, a 30th anniversary.
It really is a very, very special film. And Shell is, of course, he's Shell. Tell me what you think about Shell.
Shel Murdine.
Shel Murdine.
Who plays an adventurer. There's chapters in the film defined by birth, love, sex, death, like these different chapters. And I think my section was called Sex. Orlando, as a woman, meets an American adventurer, in from the colonies, who is living in pursuit of liberty and freedom and fighting the good fight, a good guy.
Yeah.
But they allude to the fact that he may have be an immortal and had lived and was like Orlando. Was when like
meets like.
He may have been a woman in another life and woke up as a man. It's very interesting. It's a cool movie for sure.
So Therapy Thursday, I feel like there's been therapy for all of us.
It has been art therapy for all of us.
Art therapy all around.
Yeah.
Do you paint?
I do actually. I got into it because my son broke his arm. And he was laid up, and it was his left arm, so he still had he's right-handed. And we wanted something for him to do while he was healing. So I did go to the art store. Had I known you, Billy, I would have gone to the hardware store.
You would have saved a fortune.
I would have saved a fortune, and I got him an easel and paints, and he started painting, and then I started painting. And I, there's nothing that I've hung up, that I've made, but I love doing things that are unplugged. I like things away from electricity. I like
literally. Sorry, I was
literally. Yeah, literally. Cool. I like being away from I was one of 6 children, and so my entertainment as a child was literally making dirt tracks with my Matchbox cars with my brothers, and we used to make these whole worlds, and so I loved being outside with the lily of the valley flowers and the dirt tracks. And I find when I'm outside just like listening or painting on a canvas or gardening, playing in the dirt. I loved playing in the dirt.
That's
I just like things that are away from, I guess the best way I could describe is electricity.
Sure.
Yeah.
This gardening idea and moving earth, it's like the, I don't know the name of the technique, but the Japanese rock gardens.
Oh, right. Yes. I just went to Tokyo and
sand paintings. And
I cried when I saw the rock gardens.
Did you see your Matchbox cars?
I didn't, but my God, the fun I could have.
They have one at the Huntington. Do you go there?
Yes, I love the Huntington.
Gardens at the Huntington.
See, that's another thing. Just walk around and you're in nature. I love things like that. But Sarah and I are going to come to your studio. We have to see this.
Yeah, I would love that.
Come paint.
Yeah.
It's outdoor behind
I've seen it on Instagram.
Yeah. It's like a little Imaginarium, kind of, not a junkyard, but it's got like an old car and a stage and some storage for the wonderful shop called Old Focals that my friend Russ Campbell has a shop in South Pass on Mission Street there, and he does all the glasses and frames for the movies. So if you ever want a good pair of frames, go to Old Focals. But in the back, I have this, this space he lets me work, and it's wonderful.
That's so
you
cool.
You can get big and messy.
Yeah.
And it dries in
big
the sun.
and messy.
And the kids run a little lemonade stand sometimes out front.
Love that. I like messy. I like big.
You got to bring the clothes though. And if I had a nickel for every time someone asked me if I, was
do you sell those?
Yeah. I'll probably start selling.
Yeah, no, you should. I have
painted jeans.
Yeah, and they have paint all over them. And
it's funny in the Brando film. It's the 70s. Took place in the 60s and 70s, and there was a lot of bell bottoms that we made and based on some classic pairs. And the costumer Charlie Altoona, bless him, he just kept kidding me up with we were making these, and go designing what the bells would look like, and afterwards he goes like, we got to do a jeans line. And I was like, come on, I don't know. He's like, only if you call it Billie Jean. Let's do it. It's a great idea.
I'm waiting for it. You just said it. We have to do it. You have to do it.
We're toying with the idea.
Billie Jean, come on. What is holding you back?
So you might see some Billie
What's holding you back?
Whether they're going to be paint splattered, I don't know, but you might see it.
That could be the second line.
Might see a Billie Jean drop. What a hoot.
Do you remember our equation?
Where are we looking?
Chaos
Chaos.
plus
Oh,
talent.
I was like, do you,
Yeah.
have, do you have a credo on the wall?
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to decipher your.
it's our equation for you.
My equation: chaos plus talent.
Yep, equals
Well,
Billy
you're
Zane.
the talent. I'm the chaos. So, what do we got? What are we doing? What are we tearing down? Let's chop it up.
Thank you, Billy Zane.
Thank you, my friends.